Hello, YouTube. We are back, and we are back to deal with the cover on the Flash Comics number 78. So we're coming to the end, and I want to do the cover. And as we know, the cover is a jigsaw puzzle. But the reason why we took our time and we did the interior of the book was to get the proper dimensions going around when I fold the cover after leaf casting. And I had a real bad problem doing Mike Night Tiger's Captain Arrow when I did each page individually and I cut each page individually, and just the math didn't line up as best. Is it Captain Arrow or Arrow? Arrow. I remember there was a conflict, but who gives a shit? Now what we want to do is I want to measure twice and cut once. What does that mean? I measured around this actual interior using my garment measure or ruler, soft ruler they use for tailoring. I stole this from my wife. She did ask me a few times where it was. I did not answer. So what we're going to do is give you the results. The results are 14 inches 3/4 plus 2. I always do measurements like that. I know they're eighths and things like that, but when I do measurements, I like to do the inches, then whether it's a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and any number of lines after, I just say +2, +3. It's a habit that I have from doing carpentry. So what I did was I cut a piece of legal paper. These are actually 2 pieces taped together, and I wanted just to confirm that the distance wrapped around is 14 3/4 plus 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to check it now, and it matches up beautifully. Let's flip it around. It matches up beautifully. So what does that tell me? My measurement is correct, and that is the measurement that we are going to shoot for when we are putting the cover together. I'm going to pause the camera right now because I'm going to get everything ready and put the cover in place and do what I have to do to get that going. So hang loose. Okay, guys, we are back. So I have my wee pad that I put on my workbench and a grate. Next, what I want to do is I want to put a nice piece of ramie. This is brand new ramie. And as you saw, I believe it's the upload prior to this one where I showed off the ramie, how I get it, etc. So the ramie is very important. You need ramie if you're going to do this sort of thing. Here we go. Here is the front page of the Flash Comics 78. Is it not in wonderful condition? I don't think so. But guess what? We're going to do our best to make this as best as it could be. And I'll tell you right now, these are my favorite books to work on. Just like this. Because without me working on books like this, what type of condition do you think these guys would be in? They would be in a condition that really you would have a difficult time to read. This book was in horrible shape. So now let's get the back cover. And let's take a look at this back cover. Again, horrible condition. So people may be saying, you know what, you're nuts doing this. I don't know. I think we're doing a service to the comic world. This is such a gem in our history. Why wouldn't we preserve these books? Now, I don't know what that little orange thing is, so we'll get rid of that. Okay, so what did I do? I'm laying it out and I'm trying to eye it. Because what I want to do is I want to measure now. And I want to get the distance 14 3/4. Okay, and we're going to approximate it because the leaf casting will give me some meat to cut. So right here, we got 14. Now look how much more I have to make this cover. That's why it is so important what I am doing in relation to doing the interior pages first, and then we are measuring. And I'm trying to evolve with my techniques. I'm trying to get better, and it takes time to really learn how to do it correctly. Now let's go and let's spread this off a little bit. Look how long, look how much pieces of the cover is missing. I hope everyone's going to enjoy this upload. So there we go. I am thinking that this is enough. I like the distance. And the reason why I like the distance is because I, like I said, am going to be leaf casting the book, and we're going to make a new perimeter on this book. So we don't have to be that crazy and exact, because we will be able to cut the 14 3/4 with the leaf casting. So that looks pretty good. I'm just going to move it in a tiny bit. And one more check of the distance. And a little bit wider. We're going to make it a little bit wider. And I'm going to use this bottom line to make it level. Okay. So 14, a little bit wider. 14 3/4. A little bit more, and that looks good. Okay, that looks good. I think this is enough, and you really see how much is missing off of this cover because of the damage that it sustained over its long life. So I think this looks pretty good, guys. We're not going to get an exact measurement because I really don't have a lot of graphics to work off of. But let's take a look. 14 3/4. I think I'm just going to do a tiny bit more. And I think this may be the money shot. So let's just measure it one more time. And guys, this takes a long time. It's not like it is something that you can do 1, 2, 3. It takes a long time to do these precise measurements. I may be losing a few of the viewers right now, but I'll tell you, it's something that is necessary. And I'd rather do it a few times and get it right versus doing it once and then having to redo what I just did. So, right here, I want to try to line up this line. And that looks pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more measurement, guys. I know I said that about 30 times, but it takes a while. And I'd rather have it right than not having it right. So that looks pretty good. I can do all this stuff off camera, but then it wouldn't be fun. Okay, so right there, we have our page set. Now what are we going to do? What's the next step? the next step is I am going to wet the page. And the reason why I want to wet the page is I want it to stay put. So we're going to wet it right now. We're going to put a little water with the Rame. The Rame will hold it in place. And then I'm going to try to flatten out the paper with my hands. Look how it's curling up. That's okay. That will happen. And then what I can do that maybe help it rest a little bit better is we're going to put another piece of Rame on top, because I'm going to wet it again. And I am going to use my brush to try to flatten the paper out. We'll give it a nice soaking. And you might be saying, why are you doing this? Well, I will show you why I am doing it. The important thing that I am doing is that we want to make all repairs on this book from the interior. If you're going to do this type of work and you make repairs on the exterior, you're wasting your time. Don't do it. Give up, retire. It's not something that is in your cards to actually do it. You have to do it on the interior. And by doing it on the interior, you will basically be hiding a lot of the repairs. So what are we going to do now? Now that I have the piece of Rame, let's give it another measurement. I really do not want the measurement to be off. And it looks good, guys. It looks good to me. And what does this look like over here? This actually looks a little too big over here. And that is truly unfortunate. 3/4 plus 3. I'm going to have to move this. And I'm not liking that. But it's better that I move it now than it being done and I have to move it after I leaf cast it. Now, guys, this is where you may enjoy, because this is where it gets a little crazy. When I start moving wet paper, it's not a fun thing for me, because believe me, it's something that is very daunting even after all the experience that I have. And I'm not going to really enjoy this, but you know what? We have to do it. So what I want to do is let's get, and I have a feeling that this upload I'm going to have to break down into a few uploads because it's going to be long. So what I want to do now is I want to just get my line set up. Now we're going to try to move this over 1/8 of an inch or so. And this is not fun to do. Already you can see how a little rip, or a rip that was existing, now established itself a little bit more. So, you know what? I'm talking to myself, guys, because this is not the fun part of conservation. This is the difficult part. But this is the part that people do get scared to do. And there is a reason why people get scared, because it's dangerous. So I'm going to say right there looks pretty good. And now you see how this book is definitely in pieces, and you're going to see why I need to use Tengojo paper. So I can tell you already I'm going to have to pull that up. But I may be in a good position. Should I cut the camera, guys, or is this fun? I don't know. I wish I can be interactive and I can get the answers, but this is a necessary procedure that I'm doing. Necessary to make as best product as I can. And I hope it's not boring. I hope that there is entertainment value in what I'm doing, but it's necessary. And I'm trying to up my game when I do these books. I'm trying to show you the process of how it works. And I can tell you right now, just by looking at this, this needs to be changed. I'm gonna stop the camera and I'm gonna tinker with this because I have to get close. And by the time I get back, it will be perfecto.